Hello and thanks for joining me. Today I thought I'd just do a very quick video about drones. Two reasons. One, because I've actually been asked about them quite a few times and I've promised a few people I'd make a quick video about how I use drones within my video work. And secondly, because I very recently changed the drone that I'm using. So I thought I'd just do a quick comparison for you between what I used to use and what I'm using now and why I decided to change. So let's start with what I used to use. I started out with this little DJI Spark, and the reason I picked this when it came out was because it was the smallest sensible drone available with a decent sensor and a decent gimbal. Only a 2-axis gimbal, but nevertheless, for what I was using it for back when I first acquired it, it was absolutely perfect. And without this being available on the market, I probably wouldn't have had any drone footage to include in my vlogs, simply because I wouldn't have been prepared to lug anything bigger than this up and down the mountains. And I've got on perfectly well with it. And if it wasn't for a brand new sort of drone that came out, I'd still be quite happy to use it now. So very quickly, let me just talk you through how I use drones in my vlogs. If you follow my channel, you'll see that I do use them from time to time, but it's fair to say I don't use them that often. Part of the reason was that this little drone did struggle in anything other than a gentle breeze. And so living where I do and filming mostly on the coast and up in the mountains, it meant that very often this drone couldn't cope. Also, if I was out and about wild camping, I'd often have enough gear with me that I didn't really want to lug anything extra. So about the only thing that I really could leave at home would be the drone. Now, when I first got it, just like most people that get a new drone, I was a bit excitable and I would put it up every opportunity I got. And then what ended up in my vlogs would be great big long sequences, 20-30 seconds of a single shot. And really, I'm pretty sure that that was contributing to the sort of discussions that people were having online about how drone footage was getting a bit boring. Everybody and his dog went out and bought a drone and then put these great big long sequences in without really any thought to how they'd be received by the audience. So what I started to do as time went by was to be a little bit more sophisticated about how I used it. So for example, I would use it for two specific instances. Now, one of the use cases would be for places that I just couldn't get to myself. So for example, if I wanted to fly it across a lake or across something that was inaccessible to me, the drone would come in really handy for that sort of thing. And secondly would also be to track myself so that I get a B-roll shot of me moving about wherever I am, but with the camera following me as opposed to a static walk past. Just something a little bit more interesting, a little bit out of the ordinary. The great thing about this little DJI Spark was that it's got a system where you can set it to track an object and it does that extremely well. And it's got pretty much the same software as the DJI Osmo Pocket that I use and that I have used for probably about 7 or 8 months now. So I've had people say to me, "Oh, did you have a cameraman with you?" And the answer was no. The camera was just tracking me as I moved about. So this has been really handy for that sort of thing. I do tend to be quite choosy about when I use a drone now though, even if I have it with me and even if the conditions allow me to use it, I do tend to be pretty careful with it. Now, what came out very recently was the brand new Mavic Mini. So the first thing that attracted me to that was its size and weight, because as you probably know if you follow my channel, that's something that I'm really keen on reducing as much as possible. If you have a look at the what's in my camera bag video I did a while back, you'll get an idea of what I'm on about. So when I used to be out and about with the DJI Spark, this was the pouch that I carried it in, and it would fit in along with the controller and the spare battery. This pouch at the time was what carried all my other video gear. So if I was taking the drone, that's what I had to carry with me. Now, the advantage of the Mavic Mini is I no longer need that at all. I don't use it anymore. Everything that I need fits in one pouch. And what that means is, because the Mavic Mini is so small and light, I've always got it with me. And it's been out with me on the last couple of outings. So the propeller arms fold out. And another huge plus that this has over the Spark is this weighs less than 250 grams with the battery inside, which by the way lasts up to 30 minutes. And I would certainly say that I've easily had 20-25 minutes out of it. And previously with the Spark, I had to carry 2 of these, so quite bulky, quite heavy. Whereas this, the built-in battery is tiny and the whole thing weighs less than 250 grams. And the advantage of that, of course, with the new UK law that's come in, it means that you don't have to register this drone. It comes in under the threshold of 250 grams. The other advantage that I love about this, apart from the compact size and weight, is that the camera is a 3-axis gimbal and it also shoots up to 2.7K. Now, still not 4K, but much better footage than the DJI Spark. So all around, I'm really happy with this. Now, what I've also found, and another big plus, because, okay, I'm now carrying it around with me routinely, but I test flew it from the front garden in a sustained 20-knot wind, gusting to about 25-30 knots, and it had no problem at all. I flew it down to the lake and back and videoed it all the way. It was absolutely beautifully smooth, no problems at all. And that's going to be a big help. Now, I've had it out in the mountains, and my last video, which you may have seen when Darren and I were at Llangwynant, so you've seen some footage on that, and I was really happy with that footage. Of course, it was a flat, calm, still day, so it wasn't fighting any wind. But again, I probably wouldn't have had it with me because we were actually heading up onto a high ridge. So my backpack was pretty full of my standard gear, and the Spark probably wouldn't have been with me. So when we pitched up at this lake, we had amazing conditions, and we thought, oh great, we'll stay here and get some shots. Because I had the Mavic Mini with me, I was able to take advantage of it. And as you've seen from the usage in that video, all I do is just cut short sequences in here and there within the ordinary B-roll, just to make it a little bit more interesting, give the video a bit of a lift. Certainly no great long 25-30 second continuous shots or anything like that. Hopefully I'm slightly more sophisticated than I used to be in terms of how I use a drone. So I think I'll leave it there for this one. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you found it interesting. Next time, hopefully, I'll be up a mountain with this, getting some more footage. So if you haven't done it yet, why not subscribe now and join me next time. Cheers.